Hey, hi guys, welcome back to our next episode on Breaking the Myths. Today we have the topic called cutting cords. A lot of interest, and you'll find a lot of information on the internet around cords. What are cords? There's a lot of misinformation on the net, and people do it in very different ways. Some work, some don't. So we said, why not get an expert who knows exactly what she's doing and how do you do it? Please welcome Kavita. You would have seen her in her previous episodes. She's an intuitive healer. Her basic strength is working with people through meta health on physical ailments. So if you have any kind of physical ailments, she's your go-to person.
Thank you.
Because I love the way she deals with, she identifies the conflict which created the disease and then starts working on it. So like, it's like a doctor does a diagnostic test first and you don't just start randomly saying that, okay, thyroid hai, let's start healing on thyroid. No, first her first session would be where she will look at what is it that is causing thyroid specifically in your life and then move from there. And that is precisely how she approaches cord cutting also, a very personal thing. So welcome, Kavita.
Thank you so much, Deepti. And yes, cord cutting.
Yes.
Very, very interesting it is. And more than cord cutting, I always call this workshop as reclaiming your energies. The reason why I say that is that because of cords, there is so much of energy entanglement that happens between two people that unknowingly, so many times we start behaving like the other person. And this happens so commonly, especially if you observe parents and children. Children will scream that, they want to be different than their parents, but yet they are like their parents. Why? Now, one aspect we know that it is their DNA. They have carried the same genes from their parents, but even when they're putting in the effort to change something, they find it difficult. And that is because there are energetic cords between two people. And in simple words, if I were to say what are cords, it is a energy that is traveling between two people. Okay, so it is like if you all have seen the IV tubes in the hospital, there are these transparent tubes that are running between two people.
So is it only between two people, or it can also be with your pets, with places, with emotions, with illnesses?
How many times it has happened that a dress of yours is faded, torn, but you can't just let go of it? Why do you think that happens? It is because you have a cord with that dress.
That's
So many times people complain, मेरी property नहीं बिक रही है, my car is not getting sold. They throw something out of their house and it comes back. This is all because you have cords, very, very strong cords with these things, because of which you are not being able to let go of it.
So would you say that even something like an emotion, like let's say, for example, if I feel anger very often in my life, that I have a cord running with the emotion of anger?
Yes, yes. Because collectively we all are one. So when I am feeling a particular emotion, I go and get connected to all those people who are feeling the same emotion. So my anger may be only 10%, but I have 90% anger that comes from the collective, which makes my anger 100%.
That is a very interesting perspective because I don't think many of us have thought about emotions that way. Then I'm guessing it can be extended to illnesses also.
Illnesses, emotion, beliefs, people, things, addictions. How many of, forget alcohol or substance or whatever, we are even addicted to drama. We are addicted to having bad relationships. We are addicted to, like, always making the wrong decision. All this is also somewhere connected with a cord to the collective.
So all the cords, whether it is to humans or a non-human thing, are those transparent tubes?
Yes, you cannot see them, but somebody who's clairvoyant, somebody who is very intuitive, who can understand or read the aura, they can see those tubes very clearly from going from you to wherever we are looking at. And the whole thing that I teach in the cord cutting is that you yourself can start looking at your tubes.
Oh, that is interesting.
Yes.
So you don't need to be clairvoyant or intuitive to start realizing.
Even if you have that energy in your hand, you can sense energy in your hands. Like, when we are doing Reiki, for example, or you're doing pranic healing, you can feel energy in your palms. So with that same energy, you can actually sense chords of your body and you can do your chord cutting. And so many times, there is just a huge shift that comes just the minute you have finished the chord cutting. Like if people are saying that, my fear is at 10 right now, comes down straight to 2. And that is when you realize, oh, 8 was somebody else's, not mine. I now have to deal only with that 2. It becomes bearable, it becomes manageable.
Just a thought. So there can be also temporary chords, like let's say, for example, through work, I have met a potential client, but my interaction is very minimum.
There is a chord between you and me also right now.
Right, but how do you sense whether it's a positive chord, it's a negative chord, A, and secondly, when does a chord become more permanent? Like, let's say you and me are in each other's life, we are there for a couple of months for a specific project, and then we move away from each other.
Yes.
Does the chord automatically, over a period, can go away?
No. I always tell people that once you are done with something, cut your cords so that unknowingly also there is no energy drain. Because if the cord remains, there will be a to and fro of the energy between the two people. So even like when I'm conducting a workshop, let's say there are 10 people, I have a cord with all 10 people. Now imagine if after the workshop I don't cut my cords with everybody, what's going to be my situation after that?
Right. And these chords drain us over a period of time.
Yes. If there are negative chords, if they are unhealthy chords, they will drain you. But if they are love chords, you will have a telepathy from me.
So when you teach in this workshop, people also learn how to identify the different chords.
Yes, 100%. I will be teaching how to identify whether it is a positive chord or a negative chord. We will be learning all kinds of chord cutting. That is chord cutting with people, with emotions, with belief. Okay. And one very interesting thing is that understanding your silver chord. Silver chord is a chord that is there between a mother and a child, which cannot be severed no matter how your relationship. But you can always keep it in a healthy place. You can reorient it. So reorientation of chords is very important to learn that, so that the relationships that you cannot let go of, you can at least make them better.
That is interesting. I think, especially if you're in an abusive or a toxic relationship, but you do not have a way out, because most of them, if they don't have a way out, then they can look at how they can at least reorient the chord with that particular person.
Yes, which gives them some relief so that then they can create the space for more healing for themselves.
Wow, this is so interesting, guys. So whoever's listening, I mean, we have a workshop. It's a one-day workshop of 4 hours.
Yeah, 4.5 hours.
Yeah.
Break.
So having this workshop on 6th August.
Yes, Saturday from evening 5:30 to 10.
So I think that this is something which each and every person who listens to this should be joining in, because whether we know it or we don't know it, all of us carry chords.
And I'll give you a very interesting example over here. Suddenly one day I had a knee pain. No rhyme or reason or whatever, and my right knee started hurting very badly, to the extent like we were going for a movie, I couldn't climb up the stairs to reach my seat. And yes, the movie was going on, but that thing was bothering me so much that I needed to give it attention. And I just touched my knee, and I said, this doesn't feel like my energy. There was no reason for this knee pain. And I said, close my eyes, and I'm checking. I said, whose energy is this? And I see my mother in front of me. Because of my cord with my mother, I picked up on her knee pain, and it got transferred into my body. And I cut the cord, I did the energy exchange, and my knee pain was gone even before the movie was over.
I think this is a skill which each person should be learning, because, like we said, that A, you already have chords since the day you were born.
Yeah.
Secondly, on a daily basis, we are picking up chords, whether we realize or we don't realize. So this is a skill where you can actually gain your power back, as Kavita mentioned in the beginning, that more than chord cutting,
You reclaim your energy back. You come back in your own energy. You're not either giving away your energy or you're not picking up on other people's energies.
And that's a very important thing, especially I think in today's world, where even online, because we are constantly online with somebody or the other, or we are watching content, we're interacting in some way or the other, and we don't realize the number of chords that we are picking up, I would say, every second of our life.
How many times have you realized you've watched a serial and those emotions get impacted so much with you that you start behaving like that?
Yeah. I to continue the story. I to also create in my story. Okay, now this character will do this. Now the character will do this,
So
and I
now
spoil my
imagine,
night sleep because of that.
exactly, and then that day at night you are not getting your correct
Yes.
sleep. Now, if you could cut your cord with that serial also, with that all the emotions and energy, at least your sleep will not get impacted.
That is so interesting. That is so interesting because I think, especially long-term serials, we tend to start living some of those characters. Like,
Yes, yes.
interesting thing which I know is that this was a couple of years back. There's a very long-term series called Grey's Anatomy. In that, you had the main hero who's a neurosurgeon, a very
Yes.
good-looking guy, Derek Shepherd, whom everybody was fan. I actually met a teenager who at that time said, "I want to become a neurosurgeon because Derek Shepherd is a neurosurgeon."
Wow. Now, can you imagine? Is this child really thinking for himself or herself, or is it the influence of that energy?
That's what today I just realized that triggered in me that means that she had developed a chord with that character in the series.
Yes, yes. And anyways, thanks to Yash Chopra, he's not there anymore. I mean, the kind of love stories that he has created, and at least my generation still believes that, those kind of love stories exist. I tell everybody, please cut your cords with those movies. And Mr. Yash Chopra, that is not reality.
And then they create a lot of wrong expectations in a relationship.
Of course, yes, because when you're watching something like that so intently for 3 hours,
Yeah.
you want that kind of a man or a woman in your life. But hello, reality doesn't exist.
Yeah. No, that is true. Okay, coming back to this workshop. So one last question. So when you said that you can cut your cords, you will learn the skill. Can you also cut cords between two other people if they come to you saying that I want to cut cords with so and so?
Yes, you can, but you need their permission.
Right. But that's
Because
still
without permission, you cannot meddle with anybody's energy.
right.
It's like, I want to keep my cord with you, Dipti, but my husband will come and say, I don't like the two of you all being so close with each other. I don't like this friendship that the two of you are sharing. I'm going to cut your cords. It won't work.
So does he need permission from both of us or only from you?
Definitely from me. If I am at least willing, at least from one side, he can do that for me.
So I
Like,
think
let's say that our bond has been really nice and strong over a period of time, and I'm not being able to cut it on my own. I can ask help from him to cut it for me, so that he can do it in a neutral, non-biased way. But
yeah.
he cannot do it out of his understanding, and just because he's not comfortable with it,
Yeah.
because then that's manipulation.
No, I think that's a very, very important point that before you do anything for anybody else, you need their permission. So
Yes,
even when you are cutting cord with somebody, you can cut it from your side,
yes,
but to cut it from their side, you need their permission.
yes. Like, I sometimes have to do it for my daughter who has had a fight with a friend, and she is in that emotional state where she's herself not being able to do it. Then I do it for her with her permission, saying that, what, let's just cut cords right now, so that you come back in your energy, the person goes back in their energy, and then you can sort it out more peacefully and amicably.
Right. So, guys, what are you waiting for? I mean, to everybody who's watched this whole episode, in the comment section, there's a registration link. Please click on it and register. This workshop is on 6th August. I think this is a life skill, like how we say cooking is a life skill, keeping house is a life skill. Similarly, cutting cords is a life skill and very, very essential thing, especially as our circle of, the content that we consume, the people that we meet, the emotions and the situations that we are in keeps increasing every day as we're
Yes.
getting more connected in this world. So this is as important a life skill as anything else.
Oh, and it's a very, very interesting workshop. You will have a lot of fun.
So hopefully see you all there on the 6th of August. Thank you so much, Kavita, for this.
Thank you, Dipti. Thank you.
Thank you, Kavita. Bye.